Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorda, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We got a great show for you today. And if you want to call and ask questions, 323-870-3857. And let's get started with it, Beeb. The fight of the weekend, baby. Beeb, I was excited about this. You were excited about this. And, hey, it lived up to me. Anyway, it lived up to the hype, man. It really did. It lived up to the hype to me. I loved it. Adrian Broner, AB, Cincinnati's own, baby. Adrian Broner versus Bill the Butcher. The Butcher, son. Bill the Butcher Hutchinson. You know, this guy, let me tell you how smart this guy Hutchinson is. He's an attorney. That's his job. And then he moonlights getting hit in the face. You know what I mean? You know, that's a tough guy right there. Tough guy. You know? Adrian Broner, prime form. Wins a unanimous decision over Bill the Butcher Hutchinson. 100-99, 99-91 twice. Got to be honest, man. AB looked won convincingly out there. B, did you happen to see this fight?
Saw little clips here and there, but I didn't actually purchase this pay-per-view.
Can I ask why? I don't understand that. I mean, this is AB you're talking about here.
As
AB
you know,
about billions, Adrian Broner.
As you know,
the number
I've
one
been
boxer in Cincinnati, Ohio right now.
As you know,
he came from Cincinnati, Ohio, Beeb.
As you know.
Beeb, let me tell you something about AB, man. He's the man. Go ahead. Tell me what you think of him. I've been trying to ask you for like 20 minutes now. I've
been on this 12-step program because of my pay-per-view addiction.
And that's the one. You decide that this is where you draw the line. This is your line in the sand. That's ridiculous.
I was actually on the hotline with my therapist, and she talked me off the ledge, and I was able to,
Well, let me tell you what, she did
abstain.
You no favors.
I was able to abstain from buying this.
I abstained.
I resisted my urge.
I don't even want to know what you did instead. All right. I just, you know.
That's kind of
Listen, man, AB won the fight convincingly. But let's be honest here, man. The guy he was fighting was not a top tier guy. Okay. That guy. Yeah, no. He looked, and I tell you what, listen, it's hard to, listen, he dominated. I get it. He did what he's supposed to do. But realistically, man, AB looks slow. He looked slow in there. He looked like a lot of ring rust. He looked real slow. That could have been, listen, man, hey, could have been just because he was out all that time, ring rust. I get it. He came in at 140. They both made weight and everything like that. But I will tell you, you can see that some of those skills are not where they should be or where they were, put it that way. A guy like Regis Prograis, he would have a lot of problems with. I mean, a lot. I don't know that he gets knocked out. A guy like
he gets knocked out.
Prograis is pretty good, right? Yeah. Against a guy like Teo, against a guy like Josh Taylor, he's going to have some big problems. I don't see him being a serious. I'll be honest, man. I don't see him being a serious contender after what I saw last night. And I like Adrian Broner. You guys know I like Adrian Broner a lot. But, if we're getting down to brass tacks here, I think that the party and everything like that may have caught up with him. He did not look, and listen, it's tough. I get it. It's tough to criticize him when he won just about every round there, But against this guy, he should have been able to get rid of this guy. There was no reason, and this guy's a tough guy. There's no reason he shouldn't have been able to get rid of this guy.
Mentioned on Thursday on the round table, when you look at Adrian Broner now, he's got that soulless look in his eyes.
Yeah.
And you have to ask yourself, and I find myself asking this question, is he fighting because he loves to fight, or is he fighting because he has to fight? And I think it's the latter.
I think he has to fight.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah. Whenever you're in that situation, when you're just doing something because you have to do it and there's no real drive behind you in doing it, then that's always going to reflect on your performance in whatever you do, obviously. And we can clearly see that. Like, he just doesn't have that drive, that fire, that motivation anymore, that desire to be the best. And obviously you can see by the choice of opponents that, the desire to be the best and fight the best is long gone.
And you know what? I mean, I'll give him a pass in the sense that, like, he hadn't fought in a while. You feed him Bill Hutch. I get that. I get that. Reese Mack said, can you make an argument for ring rust? Yeah, of course you can. Absolutely. Listen, what I saw last night, there was definitely some ring rust there. But what I also saw last night is a guy that didn't have the same skills as he did 3 or 4 years ago.
Sure.
The old Adrian Broner would have taken this guy apart. You know what I mean? Would have got this guy out of there. There's no more of that. How he couldn't get this guy out of there, who's a part-time boxer, he's an attorney. Yeah, he's a tough attorney, I give you that. But, like, come on, man. You're supposed to be a world champion. Again, ring rust, everything like that, I get it. But to me, when I'm watching him, it's not the same. He's not the same guy. And I was told the weight, though, was at 147, not even 140. So there you go.
Oh, here's the thing, too, Eric. When we talk about ring rust, a lot of times we'll look at a guy and we'll say, yeah, his timing looks a little bit off. But there's a clear distinction between ring rust and dullness of reflexes.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You could clearly see that. Where,
that's a great point.
Where the ability for that mind and muscle connection to just snap into effect right away when there is that pause, that hesitation, the explosiveness, the snap is gone. That's all based off motor function. That's not timing.
A great point, Beeb.
Yeah, that's not timing.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's not timing.
Yeah.
That's motor function. That's a huge difference. Yeah. Tony Yayo asked, you guys leading off with the Broner discussion, why? Somebody clue Tony Yayo in on Fight Town USA. Beeb, I believe that's called Cincinnati, Ohio. I believe, and we always Ohio title town. Why would we not lead off with this?
Listen.
Get it together over there.
We get the notes from the production truck, and we just follow it. All right. So you have a problem with what we're doing right now. Take it up with the people over in production.
Beeb Industries. That's right. Beeb Industries production.
I mean, we have to follow a script over here.
Right.
All right.
Right. What do you think? Like we're our own boss or something like that.
We don't just wing it here. Okay. We have to follow a rule. We have shareholders. We have people who cut the checks over here, and we have to fall in line sometimes.
Right. I mean, come on, people. Just saying. Yeah, so AB, after the fight, I think he called out Prograis, or he called out somebody. I don't know. I wasn't even really paying attention at that point because it was bad.
He called out Raleigh Romero, and he went in on him. He went in on Raleigh Romero.
And he's entertaining. I'll give you that. When he's got the mic, he's entertaining. But his, I wouldn't favor him over Raleigh. I don't know that I would favor him.
I was just about to ask you. You don't think he could beat Raleigh?
Oh.
Raleigh's not the greatest in the world either. I mean,
listen, man, Raleigh is shook from that tank fight still, I think.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
I would favor Raleigh in that fight.
Okay, fair enough.
I think he would favor Raleigh. I think he goes completely defensive, and I think that Raleigh wins a lousy unanimous decision.
Okay, fair enough.
Not to mention Raleigh's active, right?
Yeah, Raleigh is active.
Raleigh's active, man.
Raleigh can punch.
Can't hate on him if he's active.
Yeah.
Win or lose, man, as long as he's active.
I guess that would be his best bet at 140 and getting a title if he fought Raleigh, because he's not going to touch anyone else. come close to anyone else.
No, that would be, I'd say that's a winnable fight for him. I don't know that he wins that fight, but that's a winnable fight for him.
Most certainly is.
I wouldn't favor him, but but
Not
against Prograis, Taylor, Teo, Devin Haney, anybody who decides to come up to that 140 range or 140, no way. No way.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. No way. All right, let's talk about the big one here. ESPN, Josh Taylor versus Teofimo Lopez Jr. for Taylor's WBO junior welterweight title. Teofimo Lopez shocks everyone, or shocks a lot of people, because a lot of people picked him too. A lot of people picked him to win. We both picked Josh Taylor pretty big over here. Teo wins the unanimous decision 115, 113 twice, and 117, 111. I had the fight scored 117, 111 for Teo. Josh Taylor, to me, started out quickly. I had him winning the first 3 rounds here, man. And he looked like a problem there, man. I mean, I thought that he was forcing the action. I thought he was hitting at Teo at will. I thought he was hurting him at times. I thought he was definitely getting his attention. The one thing I noticed in those first 3 rounds, when Josh Taylor would go to feint, and his corner was telling him, do feints. When he would feint, Teo was all over the place. I mean, he was falling for those feints left and right.
Flinching a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and I said, man, he's going to get knocked out. I said, he's getting hit flush here. He's biting on those feints, and that's never a good sign, The problem, Lopez, to me, Teo was standing in front of this guy, and looking to trade and everything like that. I think they were trying to like a tit for tat kind of thing, man, because, he would want to trade and this and that. Right around the late 3rd, 4th round, it all kind of changed. Teo started to box a little bit more. He wasn't standing in front of him anymore. He started to move. And I tell you what, Josh Taylor never recovered. He never recovered. I never gave him another round after that. Yeah. As soon as that happened, that was game over.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what the craziest part is that Teo was able to make that adjustment mid-fight, because he was getting blasted in those first 3 rounds. I thought he was getting hit flush. I thought he was getting hit, pretty hard. And for him to make that adjustment, I thought was amazing. Now, the corner, I think it was around the 2nd or 3rd round, the advice from the corner, because they went to that guy, Asuno or whatever, and he said the advice from the corner, from Teo's corner, was you just have to figure this guy out. What? What does that even mean? You know what I mean? I mean, really, when you tell your fighter to figure it out, means you have 0 game plan, son. And he still won.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
The interesting thing here is, if you remember before the fight, when they were asking Teo, what is Josh Taylor's strengths? First thing he said was, this guy's a good counterpuncher, right? So I think when Teo saw him come forward, right, and not lay back, because initially I think Teo wanted to come forward, and they kind of met each other head on, because if you're anticipating that this guy's going to lay back, then you don't want to give him space and time to react if he's going to be the counterpuncher. You want to jump on him and get the jab going and just take that reaction time away. But once I think Teo saw that, hey, he's going to come at me, let me be the guy stepping back. Let me be the guy walking him into stuff, taking that half step back. And you saw what Teo was doing. I'm just going to let him come. I'm going to react to what he's doing. I'm going to let him take the lead. I'm the quicker man, right? Mm-hmm. I'm the quicker man. I'm going to get off first. He's going to come. I'm going to beat him. I'm going to beat him at the pass. I'm going to cut him off at the pass, and I'm just going to stop him from getting off. And that's exactly what he did. And then as the fight wore on, Josh Taylor saying, yeah, my legs were gone, whatever. He was kind of alluding to that in a post-fight interview I saw, I think this morning, that, he's going to move up to 147 and his legs were gone, whatever. But what happens is you become hesitant as a fighter when you see every time you come forward, you're being met with something. and obviously that's going to make you think twice and make you second guess before trying to throw your punches.
Yep.
Right. And the thing with Teo is he looked like a combination of Floyd Mayweather / Roy Jones. Like he was just doing everything. He was doing everything in there. He had a wide array of weapons in there. He wasn't just throwing, a right hand over the top. He was sneaking it up and underneath with the uppercut. He was shortening it up down the middle. A couple times he was throwing lead left hooks, and he started being the one. Once he started feeling and getting that rhythm going, he started throwing the feints. He started freezing Taylor in his tracks a little bit because what he was saying was, okay, well, this guy's kind of thinking a little bit. He's getting a little bit twitchy. He's getting a little bit hesitant. So one of the best things to do when someone is hesitant and you see them second guess themselves, that's when you start feinting. That's when you start, implementing your feint game into the equation. And once he started doing that, then
that was it.
Josh Taylor really just couldn't get anything going at that point, and then it became target practice.
We both picked Josh Taylor to win this fight, and we thought that Teo. Everybody's concerned about his mental state and everything like that. I think in the ring is kind of the only place maybe he feels safe. I just have that feeling because he did so well last night. And you can listen, man, we can all make a case that the George Kambosos fight, we all had I think we all had George Kambosos winning that fight.
Correct. Yeah.
That being said, it was a close fight. It was a pretty close fight. I think we can all say that.
7-4-8-5, yeah.
Yeah. He's
7-5-8-4, excuse me.
Yeah. Man, I tell you, he's back in the mix. He's right there back in the mix, right?
Well, yeah, yes, of course. And let's talk about this. Let's talk about this crazy father-son dynamic. Because I'm going to I'm kind of like the king of analogies here, and I'm going to make an analogy here, and you tell me if this makes sense to you at all.
It's never good, Beeb.
But you ever see that guy who has that office, and you walk into that office, and it's a mess? You say to yourself, how does this guy function, right? But this guy knows where everything is, right? Mm-hmm. And there's a method to his madness. Yeah. Amidst all this supposed chaos, this guy functions in like a well-tuned, well-oiled machine, right? And then that one time when the cleaning lady goes in there and straightens everything up, and he walks in there the next day, he's like, "What's going on over here? I can't function," right? Yeah. So from the outside looking in, sometimes what we see as a mess, right? The person that's amidst that mess, right? They're able to make it work. So it's almost like these two guys thrive off of the chaos. That's what fuels them. That's the chaos to them brings a level of normalcy to the situation. And it's almost like this guy needs the chaos to function. He needs to have that sense of desperation where his back is up against the wall. And you could say, well, he has to get rid of this, but he's used to this craziness around him all the time, which is his family. And just like when Mark Kriegel said during that exchange, when his father jumped in and was like, "Oh, don't say that." And Tia was calm, and he was like, "Yeah, this is normal for me. This is what. So you see, this is what I got to deal with." And he said it like this is an everyday occurrence for me. Yeah. And and he's so adapted to this chaos, then maybe without it, he wouldn't be the same fighter. Crazy, as crazy as that may sound.
Some people thrive on chaos. Some people do. It just is. Maybe he's like Loki, I don't know, but he thrives on that chaos. He's just used to it. That's his life.
So these guys, as crazy as it may look from the outside looking in, they're able to function this way. They're able to function this way because just when you think that it's all over and the wheels are starting to fall off, right? They steady the ship and they get back on track. It's crazy. Really is.
It's nuts. It really is, man. I would love to see him add a trainer on. I think he needs to for his own sake. I don't think he will. I don't think the dad will let it, but man, I would love to see him add a trainer. You don't have to get rid of your dad. just add somebody there. You know, I think it would help him out. I really do.
Yeah.
But
I think you still need that bit of craziness in there.
You absolutely do.
Or he's just not going to feel the same. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Just like you keep me around, right? I'm that level of chaos that
you're the level of chaos that I need. That's right.
I'm like the yin to your yang, right?
That's right. That's right.
We can't have two level-headed people on here. We need one knucklehead, right?
Right. Man, I tell you, I was so impressed. I was so impressed with that performance last night. Because I'm watching this and we're watching, and we both had it, I think 3-2 at one point or 3-1 at one point or whatever the case was.
I think we had it 3-2 after 5.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're just texting each other.
Yeah.
Tio.
Yeah.
You can argue if you wanted to, maybe giving Josh the 10th. But like Max Kellerman said, he made a great point. This could have been a range of scores from 10-2 to 8-4. 7-5, you would have, to me, again, we don't scorecard shame here because we sometimes turn in minority opinions.
Yeah,
but 7-5 is tough for me. And thinking that he needed to win that last round just to win the fight, or it would have been a draw.
Yeah,
it's kind of a stretch to me, but again, whatever you had. I'm not going to argue with you.
Yeah, I didn't see where you can give Taylor the fight. It was hard for me to justify you guys giving Taylor the fight. I had it 117, 111, just like the one judge had it.
Yeah, me too.
I know you had the same thing.
Same thing.
I'm always impressed, and it's a lot of the reason we all watch the fights, because we like to watch the adjustments being made. You see one guy taking control. Can you make the adjustments? And this was when it comes together and you make the adjustment and then the other guy can't make the adjustment, because again, it goes back and forth. That's what it's supposed to be. You guys, you're at high level boxing here, man. And to watch what we watched last night was great. I loved watching that. It was just something to see, man.
I agree.
So after the fight, Tio announces his retirement. Prior to that, he was talking about Regis Prograis. He's been talking about other fighters. I think he wants to fight Tank Davis. Everybody wants to fight Tank Davis too, but I don't know that fight's gonna be made. I think I would love. Obviously, I would love to see it made, but he retired. He's not that. Trust me, that ain't lasting. That'll last about 2 weeks, and then So, what are your thoughts? What's next for Tio?
I could see a Jose Ramirez fight being next for Tio. I think they look at that, and that's a great style matchup for Tio. I think Tio is just much quicker hands, quicker feet, more explosive. I think he'll be the guy getting off. He can beat Ramirez, moving forward and going backward. There's just no area where you could say, Ramirez will have success against Tio. Now, you may argue he's a better inside fighter. He can put the pressure on, try to close the gap. But when you got a guy like Tio who's just so quick on his feet, he's going to constantly step around you and slide back. And every time you come forward, he's just going to slide back. And Ramirez isn't the quickest guy on his feet. You saw how he had trouble cutting off the ring against Josh Taylor. And if he can't cut the ring off against Josh Taylor, then there's no way he's going to be able to cut the ring off against Teofimo Lopez. No. So Teofimo Lopez complained about the money for this fight. I guess he said he only got $1 million for this fight. Well, I think going into a Ramirez fight, I think he can command a decent purse, and against a guy who I think he has a very favorable style matchup against. So I would say the fight to make would be with Ramirez. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
that makes the most sense. Samrondo says if Tio retires tonight, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Make an argument. I mean, he beat the number one guy in 2 divisions. Lineal champ in 2 divisions.
Real simple. Is Tio better than Arturo Gatti? He's in.
Yeah.
That's what you guys did. That's what you guys did. I hate to do it, but listen.
Yeah.
That's your bar, Arturo Gatti.
Yeah. Tio's 25, right? How many fights now? 19?
Something like that. Yeah.
Champ in 2 weight classes in 19 fights.
He's the lineal champ in both weight classes.
Number one guy.
Number one guy.
And to me, you can argue all you want about what do you classify as undisputed. And I know technically it's having the 4 belts.
Having the 4 belts.
But to me, undisputed is a designation, right? And I would consider Teo the man at 140. Now, if you want to call that undisputed or not, you can. Again, it's arguable. He doesn't have the 4 belts, but he beat the guy that did have the 4 belts, who didn't lose those 4 belts in the ring.
Right. That's it.
So
I mean, if he, listen, man, he could have been the same as Crawford tonight. Beating those 2 guys. So
yeah.
Josh Taylor never lost it in the ring. So
and then I had a discussion with Al Bernstein, and Al Bernstein's like, well, because I tweeted out and I said, full credit to Teofimo Lopez. He beat arguably the number 1 guy in the division. And Al said, well, he's a good fighter, but I don't think he's the number 1 guy. He didn't look good in his last fight. Okay, but you can't erase
what he did.
You can't erase history. Like,
right.
Going into the fight, you can't, say he's going to have a bad performance like that. Now, is it because of him slipping, or is it because of Teo raising his game? Like, you have to make that distinguish the 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's up to the individual. You can't just say, oh, because he looked bad against Catterall that he's still not the lineal guy. He wasn't the guy that was undisputed and didn't lose his belts in the ring. He vacated them. So, it all depends on how you want to interpret it, but you could make an argument that he did beat the guy, and because of that, he's the man right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at 140 again, you got Prograis over there, but he's the guy that he's the guy that beat the guy. I mean, Josh Taylor beat Prograis.
Yeah.
He's up there, and I tell you what, you're lining up to see him again. I'll tell you that, So there you go. As far as Josh Taylor goes, man, he didn't look very good, and he looked dead tired at the end of that fight, right around the 10th, 11th, the 12th.
Yeah, he said he was
dead tired.
Yes.
How old is Josh Taylor now?
I think he's like 32. He's getting up there. He's getting up there.
He's getting up there, man. And so what? He's going to go to 147.
Yeah, it's a tough road up there too.
Yeah, it's not easy up there. I'll tell you that. So
I don't know who he beats up there, but here's the thing, man. If you're Josh Taylor, you got to pick your poison. Do you want to kill yourself making 140? Because he's been at 140. He said since he was 19 years old.
So there's no reason he can't continue that, right? I mean, for real, there's no reason he can't continue. If you've been there, then you were 19. You're 32 now. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know if his body is telling him no. I don't know.
Get a nutritionist. You can make 140.
So you're saying it's better for him. He's going to have a tougher road at 147. So he
absolutely.
I don't know, man.
Who can he beat at 147? Realistically.
Oh yeah, I don't.
You think he beats Boots Ennis at 147?
No.
You think he beats any of those top guys over there?
I don't think he beats Virgil Ortiz. I don't think he beats
they're too big for him.
Stanionis, he'd have a hard time beating, right?
He was so much bigger than Teo last night.
Yeah.
And he got dog walked last night.
Yeah.
And you could say, okay, he fought Catterall last. Say he lost that one. I don't think he lost it, but a lot of people say he lost it. Yeah. And he lost to Teo. Saying good, man. You got to get him a comeback fight.
If I was him, I'd move up. And then I would take some lower level guys, mid-level guys. And by the time the division kind of works itself out, eventually Crawford and Spence are going to move up. Yeah. But the thing is, can he beat Boots?
No.
I don't know. I mean, you'd say no by giving the eye test, but once again, we haven't seen really Boots in there with a real tough test. So it would be an intriguing fight, to say the least. Virgil Ortiz, I think, would be a tough matchup for him because Virgil's just so relentless. He's so strong. He's such a heavy hitter.
Well, Blair Cobb, that's a good fight for him.
Yeah.
Blair I think Cobb's, that's a really good fight for him. Yeah.
Alex Roach is a good fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He can't get anybody crazy dangerous. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's got to get a couple of
But if his body is not responding, then he's just going to have to roll the dice and go up there and see what happens, in my opinion.
Because let's face it, you stop growing when you're 19. You can't say my body's still filling out at 32 or even 25. Your body's not growing anymore. It's not.
Yeah.
You
It's,
stop
it's funny.
physically growing at 18 or 19. That's it.
It's funny. I'm a natural 200 pounder. And every now and then, I go off track, and I can get up to like 215, but normally I'm like 200 is a pretty good weight for me, right? 200, 202 or whatever.
It's where you feel comfortable, like you're walking around.
Yeah, I've been 200 pounds for a long time. You're right. Like you do kind of settle into a weight, But I'm just curious, like he's 5'10", 140. I don't know, man. I think it's tough. I do think it's tough for him to make the 140 at this point.
Well, I mean, if you don't have nutritionists and all that other good stuff, then yeah, you have to follow the diet outside, and yeah, I mean, it's tough. But
because look at a guy like Crawford, who started at 135 and then went to 140. Now he's at 147, and this guy's like 35.
Yeah.
Now Spence has been 147 for a while. Like even Floyd.
And I don't think, and Floyd wasn't 147. You know what I mean? He was always 135, 140.
Yeah.
And he moved up to 147. But yeah, your body's not growing. Again, and somebody had said in the chat, stops growing. Yeah, you stop growing at 19. You're not going to get any taller once you're pissed. You're not going to get any taller. You're not going to get any bigger unless you put weight on. That's the only way you get bigger, is if you put weight on.
That guy, Oscar's he's brutal. Look at Oscar, just what a jerk.
Probably 300.
This guy's he's not 300. Stop it. Eric is not 300.
I know your mom is around 250. That's what I know.
Whoa.
That's what I know. That's what I know, Oscar.
Whoa.
I know, that's what I know. How about that? Because now we kick it like that. The guy.
Yeah, when I was 19, I was about 205, Sean. I'm just being honest with you, bro. I was obese when I was like a kid, and I ended up like when I lost a lot of my weight, I was like 205.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was 19, I was about 200 pounds. Yeah. I was.
Yeah, but again, man, like you can't, it's just, you hear people talking about, oh, well, I filled out, I did this, and I'm still growing, when he's like 23, 24. Like, dude, no, you're not. You're not,
Yeah.
So, all right, let's talk about this undercard, man. Xander Zayas versus Ronald Cruz, man. Let's talk about this one, man. Zayas wins a unanimous decision, 80-70 or 80-71 3 times. Zayas started out fast, man. He knocked this guy down early, but he couldn't put him away, man. Zayas did everything right in this fight. He showed the power. He won the decision. And I like Zayas a lot. I'm a big fan of his. But I'm a little disappointed that he didn't get rid of this guy. I got to be honest. This is a guy that for sure he could have taken out. I think if he put the pressure on and everything like that, he could have taken him out. I don't think there's any question about that. And it looked like he was content to just let this go the rounds.
Yeah, he was cruising.
Dominate him and just on cruise control.
Yeah, he was cruising.
Instead of getting this guy out of there. And he should have got this guy out of there because you're on a big card. You're on a big card. All eyes are on you. You're the wonder boy. You know what I mean? All eyes are on you. It's hard to criticize him. It really is. But yeah, man, he looked good, but I thought he could have been better. I really do. What were your thoughts on him?
Yeah, I thought he got comfortable. He was winning the rounds easy. And at that point, when it becomes that easy, then you say, oh, you don't want to take stupid chances. But you're in there with a guy that's just not offering up anything in resistance. So that's the invitation to take over, right? So, yeah, he's got to close the show. He's got to learn to close the show if he wants to get a following, because he can punch a little bit And he's got to learn how to set up that power and get guys out of there, because that's what people come to see. When you're in there with a guy that you have a huge skill gap advantage over, you got to take advantage of that and exploit that. Just like we said when Joshua was fighting Franklin, when you let those guys hang around, it just doesn't do anything to add to your image, making people want to come pay money to see you, right?
Yeah.
So
Nando Yama says that Xander can't punch and he's pillow fisted. I don't necessarily think that's the case. I just, again, man, I think that sometimes, there's so much pressure on these guys to finish that fight. Maybe he doesn't, maybe, I don't know. I really don't know. But that's a fight that he should have finished.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely. But this guy is good. This guy isn't overrated.
No, he's a good fighter.
He's a top prospect.
He's still 20 years old. There's still room to work, but
they signed him when he was like 17.
Yeah,
remember
but
that?
Yeah, but these are guys that you should be getting out of there. These are guys you should be dispatching.
Yeah. This guy especially, because you had him hurt early, and I know he's a tough guy and everything like that.
You got to finish.
Why he's backing you up the last 4 rounds?
Yeah,
that I don't understand.
Yeah,
that I don't understand.
Unless Zayas is trying to try new things in there and try to figure things out, but you still got to develop a kind of an identity of who you want to be in there. Do you want to be that guy that is just coasting, or do you want to be a guy that when you hurt someone, you can get him out of there? Because once you start letting guys off the hook, right, later in fights, that's when they can come back and hurt you.
Yeah.
So when you got a guy hurt, you got to obviously, it goes without saying, you got to get him out of there. You got to try to get him out of there.
We've said it a million times here. That do you know how difficult it is to knock somebody out at this level, at any level, period.
Sure.
At this level, when you guys both know what you're doing, you guys are both world-class guys.
Yeah.
It's difficult. I get it. But this is your job. That's what you do.
And with respect, his opponent wasn't world-class.
No, he wasn't. He was a good fighter, but he wasn't nowhere near Zayas's level.
Sure.
Look at the scorecards. He shut him out.
Yeah.
Nowhere near his level. And there's no reason he couldn't have pressed this guy. Even if you would have pressed him and still didn't get him out of there, but okay. But you were moving. You were just content to counter like the last.
It's like when you hurt somebody, and then you start backing up after you hurt them. That's not the greatest thing in the world to be doing in there. You don't let people off the hook. You don't give people second chances against you, because you may get away with it at this level, but once the competition starts getting better, you don't want to be doing that. You don't want to give people second and third chances against you.
Right.
It's not worth it.
Right. All right, let's talk about the zone here. Jaime Munguia versus Sergey Derevyanchenko. Beeb, I told you prior to this fight happening that Derevyanchenko is a live dog here. I don't expect him to win, but I think he's going to I think it's going to be a tougher fight for Munguia. Munguia wins a unanimous decision, 115-112 and 114-113 twice. Apparently, this fight was on the table in the 10th round, so it wasn't that close, man. Or it was very close. Munguia knocked Derevyanchenko down in the final round to seal the win. I told you guys, man, I don't think a lot of Munguia's skill. I really don't. I don't think a lot of him, man. I think that he's middle of the road at best. I've said it for a long time.
Yeah.
They protect this guy. He's the product of good matchmaking. You put this guy in there with anybody with any kind of real talent at that weight. You talking about Charlo? Come on, man. There's no way he gets blasted out of there with Charlo.
The thing about Derevyanchenko, if you look at his career, he's had a lot of close fights that could have gone his way, and this was a close fight. This was a close fight. I thought Munguia edged it. I had it 6-6 even in rounds, and the knockdown put it over the top for him. But if you had it 7-5 the other way, that's fair as well too. But the thing with Derevyanchenko is he's got such quick feet. He can collapse that pocket so quickly, right? And he's good at throwing feints. And he's so good at shortening up his shots on the inside. And when he does that, he's just trying to touch you. And when he's doing that, he always mixes a hard one in there that gets your attention, right? So he's not loading up. He's just letting those punches flow. He's very fluid with his combination punching up close. And because his technique is so sharp, because he's not torquing those shots and telegraphing and pulling back, he's a hard guy to get a read on. I thought he beat Jacobs. I thought he beat Golovkin. Fight with Adames was a close fight as well.
The hard luck guy.
The only guy, I was talking to Maestro about this, the only guy in recent years that I thought won clearly against him was Jamal Charlo. And he's the guy that everyone gives shit of not being able to, not being able to, fight top competition, not getting in there with top competition. And, he was the one guy that really beat Derevyanchenko, in my opinion, the most decisive, right? So, it's interesting that Derevyanchenko, even in his advanced age, is still a tough out for a lot of people. Still a tough out for a lot of people. Yeah. And again, this was a razor close fight. And interestingly enough, Munguia's people wanted this to be 10 rounds, and they were prepared to pay Derevyanchenko more money, according to what was being reported by the DAZN commentary team. They were saying that Munguia's team and Golden Boy wanted this 10 rounds. And if this was a 10-round fight, Derevyanchenko would have won. Now, hindsight is 20/20. Obviously, if someone's requesting 10, then they're showing you concern about their stamina late in the fight. So they're telling you that there's a potential weakness there. So why give them that potential weakness? Why allow them to have that fight 10 rounds when you can probably extend them and they're not going to be at their best in the championship rounds, right? But it's funny because if he did take that offer and shorten this fight to 10 rounds, he would have won, because he was up on all the cards, and Munguia winning the last two pulled it out for him, right? Yeah. So it's interesting, but I don't think he did the wrong thing. Why give this guy what he wants? He's telling you, I'm concerned. I'm concerned on whether or not I can go 12 with you and be effective. You don't know going in that he's going to win the 11th and 12th rounds. So the guy that wanted the fight to be over in the 10th round, he ended up coming on strong in the final two and pulling it out. So I got to give Munguia credit at least for that, winning the 11th and 12th.
Yeah, and he's a tough fighter, but he's tough. He's not very, to me, and he's just not that upper echelon guy to me.
No, he's not. He's not like I don't think he can beat Charlo. I don't think he would beat
let's talk about that, because Nacho said that we should be saying the same thing about Charlo. I think Charlo washes this guy.
No, I think Charlo
fight's close.
Yeah, I think Charlo's better than Munguia, though, to be honest with you. Now, if you want to criticize Charlo's level of opposition, you can.
For sure.
But all you gotta do is look at the common opponent and look what Charlo did with Derevyanchenko, right, and look what Munguia did. And let me also say this: you put Charlo in there with the guy like Dennis. Who was the guy? Dennis Hogan. Yeah, and that was a guy that Munguia struggled with, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Charlo ain't going to struggle with that guy. You put him in there with Gabe Rosado, with all due respect. He ain't going to struggle with that guy. All you got to do is look at Munguia struggling against these guys. Charlo's not struggling against these guys. Now, you could talk about that Montiel fight. Okay, that's one. But Munguia's got a couple of them. So.
Somebody says that, Bang Mateo says that Charlo should be stripped of the belts. I agree.
I agree.
You can't have him for 2 years on hiatus. You can't do that.
I'm not opposed to that.
No, I'm not opposed to it either. What else here? Grant G says that Triple G Munguia makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I agree. It makes a lot of sense. I don't want to see the fight, but it makes a lot of sense. I get you. Yeah. I don't think Triple G. I think Triple G should be done. After that Canelo fight, what else do you need to prove here?
Yeah,
you're going to fight a guy like Munguia on the come up. I mean, what are you going to do?
He's made a lot of money. I don't know. There's not really much left to do.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. Shane Mosley Jr. on that undercard versus Demetrius Ballard, 10 rounds. Shane Mosley wins by KO. Beeb, any thoughts on this one?
It's pretty much kind of like a showcase fight for Shane Mosley Jr. So
yeah,
really not.
Do you think he's that good? Do you think Shane Mosley is that good?
I think he's solid. I think he's solid.
Is he a world-class fighter?
I think he's like probably bottom, top 15, top 20. Yeah, I don't think he's a upper echelon. No, it's not his dad. He's not his dad.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you so much, Nando Yamas. He says that Charlo got retired by Munguia victim JM Montiel. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, again, I'm not here to defend Charlo. You guys have valid points, but all I'm saying is when you watch Charlo fight and then you watch Munguia fight, Munguia is getting hit with everything but the kitchen sink. Like I think it would be fair to say that Jamal Charlo is a more technically and athletically gifted fighter than Jaime Munguia. That's just my argument. Now, if you want to disagree with that, that's fine. I
think that's pretty obvious.
I think if Jamal Charlo were to fight Jaime Munguia, he would be favored, and I think a lot of you would be picking him.
Yeah,
let's do a poll. Like Charlo.
Do a poll. Who's going to win, Charlo or Munguia? That's an easy. To me, it's Charlo, easy. Munguia, I don't know.
You tell. Let's see. We'll do that.
Nacho says that Munguia. I guess Nacho's saying Munguia is going to win because he was defending him. But I think that's a wash fight, man. I really do. I don't think there's any way he wins that fight.
Yeah.
Bang Mateo, thank you so much. He says that Beeb Korobov is slow and exposed Charlo. There you go.
Well, I mean, again, he didn't have a great performance, but look what Charlo did to Derevyanchenko, and then look what Munguia did to Derevyanchenko.
Hey, and he won the big bet last night, so he might be onto something here. Bang Mateo, he said if Crawford wins, what is he going to get, like 3,500 if Crawford wins? I guess he made it to like some kind of parlay with Teo and Crawford or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know,
but a lot of money on the line. So hey, I'm rooting for you. In London, Sonny Edwards versus Andres Campos for the IBF Flyweight Championship. Edwards wins unanimous decision, 117-111 3 times. Beeb, anything special here?
You know, Edwards seems to be playing around a lot in there, going up against the ropes, trying to showboat. And there were times in this fight where I thought he was just sitting on the ropes and really not doing a lot. And he was getting outworked. He was getting outworked. I scored the fight 8-4 for him, but he made this fight a lot harder than it should have been. Now you can argue that, you know, his opponent was cutting off the ring. You know, he was quick. He had quick feet as well. But I don't know. You just saw a lot of showboating, a lot of jarring from Sonny Edwards. It seemed like he was just kind of trying to do his best impersonation of Prince Nassim Ahmed in there, instead of trying to be Sonny Edwards. And I wasn't crazy about it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, there you go.
So,
all right, let's talk about the upcoming fights here. Let's see here what's coming up here. June 17th, Regis Prograis. This is on DAZN in Louisiana, New Orleans. Regis Prograis versus Danielto Zorrilla. 12 rounds for Prograis' WBC junior welterweight title. That's going to be on DAZN. Now, I don't see on June 18th, I don't see a time or anything listed for this. I don't know if it's going to be on Showtime or what. But Tim Zhu versus Carlos Ocampo, 12 rounds for Zhu's WBO interim junior middleweight title. Sam Goodman on the undercard versus friend of the show, Rais Salim, 12 rounds, junior featherweights. Rais is another guy that, you know, really was in that mix for a while, should have been in that mix. But, I don't know. Bang Mateo, thank you so much. He says, Eric, who has more power, Malignaggi or Sonny Edwards? Got to go with Sonny Edwards here. I got to go with Sonny Edwards. Yeah,
I go with Sonny Edwards.
Not to mention, I guess in their prime, Sonny Edwards. Because he's not fighting anymore. Did you hear Ishe Smith signed up for the bare knuckle boxing?
I did, yeah.
Crazy, man. Why? It's a completely different sport. I don't understand. It really is. You don't believe me? Ask Bobby Gunn.
Yeah, you interviewed him, and he had some interesting things to say about.
I thought it was real interesting how they, like you said, man, they punch different and everything.
Remember that argument you and I had with my brother? He was trying to say that he didn't understand that it's harder to punch without a glove on because you're not protected and you're not going to want to punch something full force because you're concerned about injuring your hand. When you have have the hand wrap on there, the gauze and the glove covering it, you're more confident, trying to punch through your target as opposed to having nothing on there, just but like tape.
Yeah, it's different, man.
It's different.
And there's a way to punch. He was telling us, remember that he was telling us a way to punch without hurting your hands and stuff like that, because you get bare hands there,
Sure.
Yeah, 61% to 39, 60-40. Charlo is going to beat Munguia.
Beezy asked me who I like, Teo or Regis. That's tough.
That's a tough one now. 24 hours ago, I know what my answer would have been.
I favor Regis.
Yeah.
Lopez or Regis Prograis.
There you go. All right, 530. Robert.
Hello, guys. How are you?
What's the word?
In regards to, let me answer one question first. Eric, the Tim Tszyu fight will be on Showtime next Saturday night at 11:30 p.m. Eastern. So
there you go.
That's when it's scheduled for. Anyway, as far as last night's fights go, Jaime Munguia is ready to be taken out by somebody. I scored the fight for Derevyanchenko. I thought he actually won the fight.
Oh.
I see him on his way out. If Golden Boy puts him in with anybody with any kind of talent, they'll be done with him. If they want to catch him out, now would be the good time to do it.
Jesus, Robbie.
That's the way I see it.
Tell us how you really feel.
As far as Lopez and Taylor goes, boy, did I call that one wrong. I thought Taylor was going to knock him out, and Lopez showed up and did a lot better than I thought he would. But he's got so many outside distractions, outside the ring. I wonder how much longer he's actually going to be around. I don't believe that he's going to be retired. I seen that story this morning. I don't think it'll last, but and I don't know how he can survive with all that chaos he's got going on in his life. But again, if he gets in with a top level guy like a Prograis, I don't know how well he'll do.
Yeah, I think I favor Prograis in that fight, but you can't sleep on Teo.
No. I sure called it wrong last night. I thought for sure Taylor was.
Well, you've been wrong a lot lately, anyway. So don't worry about it.
Right. That's nothing to be
Yeah,
said.
I don't. I don't know. And Taylor at 147, he's going to have a lot more fights because I didn't like what I saw last night. I don't know how well he's going to do there. I think Boots will tear him apart if he fights him too early. Ortiz would be difficult for him. Alexis Rocha might be pretty good. I mean, he's an up-and-coming guy, but, and he's the number one contender for a Crawford title, but, of course, that's going to be tied up for the next two fights because, remember, whoever loses that Spence-Crawford fight, there's an automatic rematch clause because it's on both sides.
Yeah.
So you'd have to think those titles are going to be tied up for a while. So everybody else is going to have to find ways to keep themselves busy.
There you go.
Be interesting. There you
go.
Anyway, that's pretty much all I've got this week, guys.
All right.
Tell Mrs. Eric I said hi.
See you later.
What's wrong with you?
I like Mrs. Eric. Not that way, of course, but she's a nice
What's
person.
wrong with you, man?
She's a nice lady. I mean,
stop it. What's the matter with you?
That's all I'm saying.
New York 516. You're live.
What's up, guys? This is Jesse. What's going on?
Did you go last night? Did you go last night?
I didn't go. I freaking.
Oh, Jesus.
Where was he supposed to go?
I think I might go to the Berlanger fight.
That's his backyard, Eric. He lives in New York.
I didn't end up.
Why didn't you go to that fight?
Yeah.
Why didn't you go?
You know what? I was gonna meet up with a friend there, and then he couldn't make it to the Garden on time. So a couple of friends just came over to my house, and we watched the fight here. But I may go to the Berlanger fight in 2 weeks. But yeah, man, the takeover is back. What I did do, B, but I put $20 on Teofimo by knockout at plus 1,200, which would have been $240, or something like that. Yeah, I had my friend put it in his site. He told me that was the odds, and I thought I was almost going to cash out on that one real quick. Because Taylor did look wobbly, but the takeover's back. I hope he doesn't stay retired, man. Teal put on a masterful performance. And it was a lot of the stuff was similar to the when he faced Lomachenko. He was arguing with his dad then, and he said he wished him and his dad were close. And a lot of people were saying, "Oh, look at him and his father's relationship. Loma and his dad are close." He was a 3-1 underdog. So it's kind of funny how like his two masterful performances are similar in like storylines and odds. What do you guys think about Berlanga? I don't know much about this guy Quigley, so let me get you guys' opinion on this. Is Quigley just a name for him to beat? And
Quigley's not a bad fighter. Jason
or
Quigley's not a bad
is this
fighter.
an actual contender?
He should win, but Jason Quigley's not a bad fighter. Put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, Demetrius
What do you guys
Andrade.
think about Berlanga and
Demetrius Andrade beat Quigley pretty handily, knocked him down a couple times, but Berlanga, I don't know, man. I'm not really impressed with Berlanga, to be honest.
No, he's got a lot of work to do, and clearly Top Rank wasn't impressed with him either.
Yeah,
and they're the ones that put him on that big run.
Yeah, he has a kind of weird. He kind of has a weird storyline because you see all these first round knockouts, and then his last 4 fights went the distance. And this is his first fight at 12 rounds. And it's Puerto Rico versus Ireland, so the atmosphere should be pretty fun.
Yeah.
So I think that'll be a fun time at the Garden, though. Toronto versus Taylor was cool. And then Zayas too. I've heard him on the Spanish stations out here making his run and stuff. My family in Puerto Rico are watching him, so I guess he's making a name for himself out there. Yesterday I was hoping he got rid of the guy quickly. Like you said, you're on a big fight on ESPN. He won every round, but it would have been nice if he just knocked him out in like 2. So what's Zayas? Is he the next Puerto Rican big star? Is it Berlanga? Let me know.
I don't believe it's Berlanga. I believe it would be. I would lean more towards Zayas than I would Berlanga for it. But Zayas is pretty good. He's pretty good. I don't know whether he's the next star or not. He'll have to get to the next position in his career where he's fighting top, upper echelon guys. But he looks pretty promising though.
Yeah. Should be interesting.
All right, brothers. Thanks for taking my call, man. Great chemistry, great show as always. And freaking, I got Crawford over Spence.
There you
Me
go.
too.
All
Me
right.
too.
Jesse Reekin, thank you so much. Let's go here to Miami, 305.
Hey guys, what's up? I'm a first-time caller to the. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. You're very loud and muffled, though.
I'm a first-time caller to the show, actually. For me, when I scored the fight, honestly, I don't agree with the scorecard. To be honest, I agreed with the 117-111, but the other 2 scorecards were way too close. I think, honestly, for me, I would have been okay if they gave him 118.
Yeah, I'm going to put you. I'll tell you what. I'm going to put you on hold. We're going to address what you said. I'm going to put you on hold because it's just kind of echoing.
Yeah, take your phone off speaker, man. Talking to your phone.
If you're on speaker, please take your phone off speaker.
Yeah, take your phone off speaker. You sound very echoey.
Are you on speaker now?
No, I'm talking to a cell phone. I'm in an area where the phone connection is like.
Yeah, it could just be a bad connection.
That's what it is.
All right, I'm going to put you on hold, and we'll talk about your question here. Sorry about that, sir. I know he's a first-time caller from Miami, baby. Miami.
Killing my ears, though.
Yeah, well, it was sometimes you get a bad connection, man. But he said, okay, so he's saying he had trouble with the 115, 113 scores. Thought they were a little bit too close in the TO fight. I thought they were too. Both Beeb and I had a 117, 111. I can't make a case that Josh Taylor won that fight.
No.
Can't. I can't even make a case that fight was that close. So I had to, 9 rounds to 3. I could do 9 rounds to 4.
8 rounds to 4, maybe, not 9.
8 rounds to 4, excuse me. Yeah.
7-5's tough.
7-5, yeah. 7-5 is a little bit tougher for me, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had an 8-4 and it seemed a bit close. Yeah, he's right. I thought it was just one of those things, man. I thought it was a pretty clear-cut thing. I think the biggest thing I took away from that fight is just the adjustments that were made between the 3rd and 4th round, and that was it.
I agree.
It was beautiful, beautiful adjustments. I believe this might be Hamed 111. Hamed, you're live.
Yeah, hello. How's it going?
Good, man. Good.
Yeah, how's it going?
Good.
All right. I thought Lopez won 9 rounds, but I think you could go as far as saying he won 10 rounds in that fight.
Yeah.
So
I think
Taylor
so.
won the first round. I thought Taylor won the first round. I thought he had a good 10th round. I think it was Kellerman said Lopez took it off. But I gave Taylor the second, I think. I'm not even sure if he really won that. That was like a close swing round. And then round 3, I think Teo won. Then round 4 onwards, it was Teo. I think it's the same size. I think Lopez knocks him out. Because he's a guy coming up, and Taylor looked like a big welterweight in there. That's, I think, the only reason he didn't get stopped. But I thought a lot of people were overrating Taylor slightly and underrated.
Let's not do
I
this
know
now.
he had a couple of close fights. No, but I'm saying going into this fight, I'm not talking about his accomplishments because I was at his fight program. But I'm talking about just style-wise.
Who did you pick to win the fight? Who did you pick to win the fight? Who did you pick to win the fight?
I thought it was a 50-50 fight.
Who did you pick?
I thought it was a 50-50 fight.
Who did you pick to win?
I thought it was a 50-50 fight.
So that means you picked Taylor. Okay, good.
No, look, I'm just saying, based on his last fight, his 60-month layoff, I think some people were like selling Teo a bit short. I know he had a close fight with Xander Martin, but I thought that was not a robbery. I thought that was a close fight. Like, I think the referee missed the knockdown, but I had no problem with the decision in that fight. I thought that could have been a draw or could have went the other way. I just think Xander was a bit too negative, but I thought Taylor looked horrible against Catterall. I thought he lost maybe even 8 to 9 rounds in that fight. I think this was a bit more one-sided because Lopez dominated the second half, but I think these guys got to be more active because I didn't realize since Taylor fought Catterall, Lopez had already fought twice. I know that opposition maybe wasn't as good as someone like Taylor or Progress, but I think you got to be active, and I think that hurt Taylor. I don't know what you guys think, but I don't think he's looked the same since the Progress fight. I know he beat Ramirez, but even in that fight, in the first 5-6
that
rounds,
fight was close.
That
fight was close. I had it even in rounds. I had it even in rounds, but the knockdowns won him the fight on my card.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I thought Taylor won 7 rounds. Yeah, I don't think he looked that great. I don't know if it's do you think it could be because of the switch in trainers? Because under McGuigan, he did look very good, but since that,
I don't think the switch in trainers had anything to do with it. I was surprised that the trainer couldn't adjust after that 3rd round. Tell you that. That's what I was surprised with. I know Ben Davidson could probably make those adjustments, but rumor has he wanted to work with that guy a long time anyway. So I don't think that. I mean, listen, he's been fighting for a long time. He saw a lot of styles, everything like that.
Yeah.
I just, listen, Teo was the better fighter last night. He made the adjustments.
Teo got his number.
Yeah, I can't argue with that.
I think
either.
Lopez got his number.
Yeah. All right,
Lopez,
Hamed, we're going to get rolling,
very
man. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. Thank you so much for the call. This guy stays up in the UK to call us. It's amazing. Amazing. I love it. I love Hamed's calls. Champ Life says Taylor should just rematch Catterall and Prograis, both good fights. Listen, that's a great game plan. That is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, he's going to beat Catterall. He'll beat Catterall in a rematch. I thought he beat him the first time. Yeah, I think that he beats Catterall, and I think that he fights Prograis again. Now, who cares who wins? Because that's a money fight for him. It's a great fight for him. I think that's really good stuff, man. All right. News and rumors here. Trey Lippy Morrison, Beeb, was involved in a car accident on June 8th, just a couple of days ago, and I heard he's still in ICU or he's in the hospital. Yeah, so it was a fairly bad car accident. So thoughts and good vibes definitely go out to Trish and the rest of her family over there. Hopefully he's all right. Nobody cares about his boxing career at this point. Just hopefully he's okay, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
Let's see here. What else we got? Conor McGregor. Did you watch this, Beeb? Have you been keeping up with the finals at all?
Yeah, I heard about that. It's just ridiculous.
I don't know if you guys haven't seen this video. He hit him hard. It looked like he hit him hard. And you go back, and I mean, he hit him, and that mascot just dropped. I mean, it looked like a legit knockout. And then Conor went and hit him again when he was on the ground. Now, from what I understand, the whole thing obviously was staged, but they said they practiced it out and everything. So I don't know. Maybe the guy got hit for real. Maybe hit him in the wrong spot in the mask. Maybe hit him for
probably
real.
Went overboard.
Jarred him.
Went overboard with it too.
He looked like he pretty went overboard. I don't understand these mascots and them wanting to get these guys out there and get hit. Like, look at Deontay Wilder.
Yeah.
These guys are professional fighters here. They hit.
Sure.
I mean, and then you get him out there in front of the crowd. They're all hyped up, and then he smacks this guy. He did his job. That's what you paid him to do. I mean, it turns out the guy went to the hospital. I think the mascot went to the hospital later that night and came out. He actually had some painkillers. He was okay. But it was just like, you kind of wonder now, is there going to be a lawsuit on top of that? Hopefully not. I mean, you guys are the ones that say, hey, hit me. Here we go. Come on.
Wilder did the same thing to one of those mascots too, didn't he?
Yeah, that ESPN. I was on ESPN, and he popped one of those guys, man.
That's bananas, bro.
I know, right? Like, who does that?
It's out of control.
All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at JHabib1. Find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com. And you can find me on Twitter at Ringside73. Guys, have a safe week. We will see you next Sunday.